we're on that topic, and for a long time, this topic has been something that is of philosophical value for people. Being sustainable, yes, we have to be sustainable. It's very important to be sustainable, or it's a nice word to use sustainable. We can attract a lot of customers using the word sustainable, a lot of users as well. But what exactly is sustainability? Is it just something philosophical, or is it something that could be put into numbers? At the end of the day, if the numbers are right, there is more hard evidence to prove that something good is happening. And yes, we're very thankful for the Norwegian government for creating the new Sustainability Act, which came online on 26th of June of 2024, which is for the time being only for companies which are being publicly quoted uh, and or rather publicly traded. And of course, this is going to apply to large scale businesses in 2025 and to small and medium scale business in 2026, which is a very good initial measure because now it forces businesses to actually think a little bit more sustainable and at least start logging in the areas which they feel that they need to be sustainable with. So, what does sustainability mean to me? Well, I think it's more about an inner journey. How sustainable are you as a person? How sustainable are you not just when it comes to consuming your own personal resources, but also training your children how to be careful with consuming their resources. Are they over consuming? Do they have enough left over for a rainy day? And this is, of course, one of the key things of personal sustainability. But of course, when it comes genuinely to sustainability, when we talk about other beings who we are sharing this planet with, trees, the earth, the environment, and so on and so forth, there is much more deeper meaning to it. Because are we consuming goods for the sake of consuming? As you know, human weakness is based on consumption. So when we, for example, say when we earn some money, there are four major things that we can do with that. We can invest it, we can save it, we can give it to charity, and of course we can buy consumables. And when you say consumables, there are two criteria: the ones that you really need and ones that you think is nice to have, or sometimes you really actually don't need, but then you're always pushed towards consuming. And this is a natural human weakness. And until and unless we become mindful about the fact that we are not consuming things just for the sake of consuming to satisfy our unfulfilled pleasures. A lot of people know people just like they binge drink, they binge consume, they go on shopping sprees. So it's very important, I think, to start deep within yourself to see, is this practice actually sustainable? Do I actually need this many amount of gadgets and toys and clothes and shoes and other things that is not needed of? Can I recycle something? Can I reuse? Can I just repair something and then completely buying something new? So this, I believe, is personally where my views into sustainability come into play. But then, of course, everyone has their own interpretation. So let's go a little bit into social impact. Now, this is an interesting area. How impactful are you? What type of impact are you making in society? Are you giving anything of value to society? And I believe everyone has that drive, but due to the current working culture, you're not necessarily able to contribute that well into society because you're running about with your day-to-day life, getting from A to B, getting things done as fast as possible. And I think this is super important, and also I come back to inner sustainability, where you're being mindful and seeing if your actions are actually something that's really required, or are they just a habit that you brought on from your childhood, your family, or your culture, or your school, or your religion, or your belief systems. So a lot of things that we do are not necessarily productive, they're not effective in delivering a great life or delivering something good to society. They're just things that we do because we always did it like that. And if you go deeper into why did you do it like that, it's just because my mom or dad did it, or we were taught to do this when we were in school. And it's 2024. There is so much knowledge and information today on the internet for us to consume and see if there is actually any worth, any value to the actions that we're doing, or are they just simply programs that come from our past, from our cultures, from our families, and so on. So I think it's very important for us to observe ourselves, observe our actions, and see what it is that we need to actually change, specifically when it comes to our actions, and how much letting go of these unwanted things that we do on a daily basis actually gives us more time to do more important things. So that is how I look at social impact, or one of the ways that I like to look at it. And well, talking a bit about how I got involved in sustainability, uh, coming from a country like Sri Lanka, we're always focused to take care of our nature because it's a country that's filled with tourists, and when tourists come, they're not necessarily always looking at cleaning up the mess that they leave behind. And so we are always reminded that we need to take care of our environments, our beaches, which is what most Sri Lanka is famous for, but then other natural, other areas, nature as well. And so growing up in such an environment, also limited for resources, we have to make do with very limited resources. A cup is not necessarily a cup where I come from that's used just to drink some coffee. There are 1,000 different things that we do with this. We could use this to dilute our paint when we are painting. We could use this as a paperweight. We could use this as something to lean our phones against. So there are a lot of things that we could do uh, with a cup. So we grow up in a culture where you literally are have no choice but to be creative with the way you use things. And so coming from that culture to coming to Norway, where a coffee cup is only for coffee and it's only for that specific person in the house, and it's only for this specific type of coffee, and there is a different type of cup if you want to have a much stronger coffee like a espresso. So it's pretty funny to come to a country like this, which has an oversupply of just about everything, and has completely deviated from the path of sustainable usage. So this is for me at the core of what my belief system, where I come from, and what I bring to Norway when it comes to being sustainable. When you see so much of abundance, so much of amazing things just being thrown away, not reused, not recycled. If you look at the computer, which I will show you, it's about a couple of years old, but it's of course the highest specs and very high quality. But then these computers get almost thrown away by large corporations, so we can get it for almost nothing. And I run most of all of my events, all of my media campaigns, everything using these old machines. So as with the camera that I'm using right now. So being sustainable is not necessarily going out and taking care of the trees and wildlife and so on and so forth. It can start within you, within the workload that you're doing. And I, for one, have an amazing feeling when I get to reuse something that someone has been using for many years and make something amazing out of it. So I think we need to teach our children the same values, the value of reusing something. For example, instead of buying new shoes, you could buy used shoes, and really nice shoes, and take care of them so that they can be used for a while. Of course, sometimes they tend to break. It's Norway, so it's expensive to fix them, but if it's not broken, if it doesn't need to be fixing, try using it a little bit longer.